Jesse. Say what's up, Jesse.
What's up, Jesse?
Yes, sir. We're here with a flash episode today. Jesse and I were talking about things that just bother us in video games and just
Getting goosed up.
annoying. Yeah, we got really goosed up, and I'll tell you what, it happened because I was on Threads and I saw a clip of a Pokemon pinball
Cameron
playthrough.
Cameron fell for the rage bait. He got rage
Yes,
baited.
I was, man, but this man was playing it in a way where this is my first grievance. It's the reason that we were inspired by this, or I was. People in pinball who don't catch the ball with the flippers. I don't understand that. I really don't. He was playing that boss battle against Rayquaza, or I don't know how that's pronounced, but I was
Yeah, that's
just
right. I
like,
think I'm pretty sure it's Rayquaza. I think you
yeah,
nailed that one.
and he's sitting there and he could have got he got the job done just in time, but he's just sitting there letting the ball just fall down and it's falling into the hole. And I'm just like, dude, just catch the ball and you can hold it and you don't have to worry about it getting sucked up or anything by the wind. You can hold it and time your shots better. And it
You
reminds
can
me of one of my
aim. You can aim
yes.
your shots better too. To be fair, this is just my one defense. It's still an annoying thing people do, but I have noticed that, and this is even my own experience. A lot of people just like it doesn't even like register that that's something you could do. It took me a little into my pinball life. I was probably like I played pinball since I was like a little kid. It probably took me until like pre-teenage to be like, oh, I could do that.
I always knew the flipper you could hold the flippers, but the idea of catching it was something that my dad instilled upon me. You remember Ultra Zone, the laser tag place?
Oh hell yeah.
All right,
Rest
so
RP.
back in like 97 or 98, my dad was visiting and I was like, "Can we go to Ultra Zone, just you and I?" And we did. And he's like, "Let's play the pinball tables." And I'm playing, I'm doing pretty good. He's like, "Yo, but catch the ball." And I was like, "Catch it? What do you mean?" He's like, "Yeah, just like hold it and catch it. And that way you can line up where you want it to go. And it stops the ball from like it's very rarely going to go over the flipper and into the hole. You have control over it that way." But yes, people who don't catch the ball in pinball, I just that's a real irk of mine. I hate watching people who do that.
A
That's a that
good a good thing to break people over to get people over that would just make them play the indie Metroidvania Yoku's Island Express, which is like a pinball themed Metroidvania. You cannot really get that far in that game if you don't catch the ball, because a lot of it is like hit this specific door, go through this specific way, which is not something you're gonna do often if you're just like smacking and whacking and flacking.
And that game, I loved it when I first played it. The physics are not by any chance
They aren't
similar
great.
to.
They are better than Sonic Adventure though. I think like the most just like we're just all up in the air physics of pinball is the casino pinball. It's Sonic Adventure. Yeah, you
Yeah,
could just like
they're not loosey goosey like that, but they're also not Pinball FX3 or anything.
oh no, it's not
Still,
like a physics reality based sort of a table. But it does.
no,
I do think because it forces you to do pinball catching. If you have someone you're annoyed with, just make them play that game. They'll learn how to fucking catch the ball real fast.
and it's a really fun game. Period. I loved that game. I had a lot of
Very,
fun
very
with it.
cute. Another one we were talking about is people that just like don't hold the run button, like in a
Oh
platformer.
man. All right, this goes back to when I was in 2002. Me and Travis and I had just started hanging out a lot. And one thing that we both were pretty fucking good at was Mario games. And we would often play the Super Mario All-Stars collection, Mario 3, Mario World, Mario 1, Mario 2. But man, we always played Mario 3. That was his thing, and that was honestly my thing. I love Mario 3. And I
Oh
remember,
yeah.
yeah, his little brother Nick had a friend who I'm not going to name, but anyways, Travis sat there and said, "Yeah, so and so doesn't he plays Mario without holding the run button." And at the time, I
Just
never even
all slow.
I thought, like, what? How can you just walk? How can you just move from left to right without holding it? Like,
I kn
that's a
I also
key.
I had this thought last night after you told me this, this tale, I feel like you would, in some of those levels, if you just walked, wouldn't you, like, run out of time?
Let's see here.
Because old school Mario is like in like almost all side scrolling Mario is the levels are generally timed. Even in the new Super Mario Brothers, they were timed.
Mario three's levels are too short though. There's very few levels where
This is true. There
y-
are like a lot of like bit sized levels in Mario 3.
yes, they're definitely bit sized. The only level I can think of that really can test you on time is there's two of them. The one in the ice world where you need to be you're in a cave. You go underground, you're in a cave and you have to hit you have to get the leaf and you have to free enough space so that you can actually fly up into a hole in the ceiling and then yeah, that's one level and then the other one is the castle in the middle of world 8. Like right, I think there's two castles in the game in world 8, but the mid fortress, that one is, it's a big puzzle castle. It's like go in this door, then go in that door. Personally, I hate those levels, but yeah, like that's one of the only levels in the game where time is a big factor. But
Yeah.
yeah, if you walk through those, you have to be quick to get through that level because I think your
Yeah.
time limit is only 300, and that doesn't mean 300 seconds. That means 300 half seconds. So you essentially have about like about 2.5 to 3 minutes to finish the level.
Yeah,
Um,
and I definitely I know in Super Mario Brothers 1, you could not walk through the levels probably. I mean, that's like that's a very, very timed game. Um,
and the jumps, you have
yeah.
to have the momentum to do that.
What's funny about me is when I was like 3 years old, the first game I ever played was the original Super Mario Brothers, and I had the reverse problem where I immediately picked up the run, but it took me a little while to conceptualize how to jump. So I was just like darting off the first cliff like like over
Yeah,
and
you're
over.
like, yeah, you get into this zone where I mean, you hold it with the tip of your thumb, and then you use the middle of your thumb to press the A button, the jump button. That's it. But man, watching
It's
people play like that, whew,
Oh, it's a
it's
slog. It's also just like a it's a basic deficiency and just like motor skill at that point. You're like you not like even my girlfriend who's not very good at like video games knows how to hold the run button.
Yeah, my daughter when she got Super Mario Wonder, she was only 4 years old, and yeah, she picked up on that pretty quick. Because one thing that Mario Wonder did really well was, I know you haven't really played that game. I'm sure you've played it, but if you play the first world, the second or third level in the game is the race against one of these squirrel characters, and the only way to actually race is to run. So I said, "You better run," because we were playing on video chat and stuff. I was like, "You better run," and she's like, "How do you run?" I was like, "You got to hold the Y button," and boom. And I said, "You should be running just about any time you move in the game. Running is how you jump further. It just gives you momentum." And she got that really quickly. But yeah, man, watching people do that, whoa, man, that'll test your patience. That'll test your patience. Next one we got you said something about people who are playing games like Donkey Kong Country or even 3D platformers and they pass by obvious secrets. They just
Yeah,
skip
or
over them.
even something like a action RPG, kind of like Zelda, like a Link to the Past, or like Castlevania. You see a crack in the wall, or something that's obviously like a little offshoot. Or
Yeah,
I've
how
even
do you
seen
not notice that?
and I need that, and like, and if you point it out to them, they get like I've noticed the's a defiance that comes at you where they're like,
They get
I,
defensive. I've seen it before too.
it's like, I don't really have I don't have the time to fucking dive into everything this game has. It's just like, all right, dude. And I've seen people do that with open world games, like in the modern version of that. Like I've seen people play a game like Fallout and Skyrim and be like, I don't really have time to offshoot and everything. And I'm like, then why the fuck did you play this game?
Do you think that's a cope for them because they hate having it point out to them that it was something that they were in actuality didn't notice, so they cope with it by trying to make you sound like you're like some sort of nerdy loser for focusing on things like that in the game. Is that
It,
it?
yeah, it has to be a cope, and unless they really are just like I'm just here to play the main story and nothing else, and in that case, I have to question the logic because there's so many games that are linear experiences. Just play one of those.
Yeah, well, like where's your sense of wonderment or adventure? Like if you don't notice it and you do, at that point, you better have played this game multiple times to the point where you can be like, come on, I know what I need to do in the game, how to get by, I'm trying to speed run it right now. But even
Yeah, like
then, if I play Zelda and I see you skipping over an obvious heart piece or a mini game, in my head, I'm thinking, oh, come on, you're not going to get that heart piece? You're not going to go back and get that? Or if you pass by the cave as an adult in Ocarina of Time in the Hyrule Castle area, and then I'm like, wait, you need to go back there and get Din's fire, just
yeah,
something
get
like
get a
that.
power.
Yep, basically. Anyways, yeah, people who don't look for secrets are just cope with them by making you sound like you're the nerd. Yeah, that's a
Yeah, and I'm talking
magoo.
obvious secrets too. I'm not saying I'm watching someone play a game and they pass like the deep Easter egg, and I'm like, oh, you're not gonna go for the Easter egg. I'm like,
Yeah,
like, hey, there's a crack in that goddamn wall over there. It's like blatant as
right.
fucking all
It's
day.
not like Donkey Kong Country where you have to throw a barrel at a wall that's I mean most of the walls and stuff in Donkey Kong Country 2, 1, whatever, you don't they're not defined. There's you have to like
The
do that
barrel
by
is what's
trial.
the barrel is what defines it. You see the barrel and you're like, oh, I probably
Yep.
have to throw this at something nearby.
Yeah, you see the barrel up there above you or down in the pit. Like you can see like the top third of it. It's like, hey, dude, come on, there's a barrel there. Go get a one up. We're playing here. We're doing a long play. Load us up on some one ups. Well, I don't know, man. You can do that if you want. I'm just playing the game. I'm just playing the game.
Finish
Oh,
Cranky's challenge. That's like my favorite bit of Donkey Kong lore. In the first Donkey Kong, if you talk to Cranky, he like hints at some challenge where you have to do like a perfect almost like speed run under a time limit, like 100% run through of Donkey Kong Country, but it's actually there's no actual like reward or Cranky's challenge. It's just some shit he says.
oh, dude, Cranky's basically a troll in that game. It, he's like the original video game troll. He off the top of my head, he's literally he's somebody that just he makes you feel bad when he doesn't need to. He's just a dick. I
He's
mean,
like he's like a gatekeepy dude in an arcade where he's just like this new age of games sucks.
and isn't he actually supposed to be canonically the original Donkey Kong from the 1982 game?
Yes, he is.
Yes, awesome. What else did we talk about? Oh, you
Uh,
mentioned people who
well,
performatively yell and go on.
oh yeah, no, we'll go into the streamer thing. Yeah, it's like it's not even just streamers. I know people who just do this when they I don't know if they do it when they play alone. Maybe, but you like someone will play a horror game or something with you and they just like performatively scream the whole time. And I'm not sure this is a real chicken or the egg situation. I'm not sure if people were doing this before streamers took over and you've got your no shade on Markiplier, I do love him, but like that whole vibe of just like I'm gonna fucking like shout my way through a horror game like performatively.
Okay. I remember playing Resident Evil 1 with my bro, Mike. Yeah, he was much older than me, and when he bought that game, I remember the dog coming through the window, and I don't remember either of us being like yelling or yelping or shouting, but I do remember him being like, "Oh shit." Like when things would happen in the game that were
Oh yeah.
scary.
I mean, you're gonna
Yeah.
react to a jump scare. You're gonna be like, "Oh shit, fuck." I
Yeah.
mean, like,
But I never remember either of us yelping at a horror movie or anything like that. The only time I can honestly say that I've been like legit scared when playing a game was Resident Evil 2 remake when Mr. X comes about. That
oh
that to
yeah,
me, oh, that one got me cuz like, you know, he comes at you and you realize immediately he's not somebody that you can actually harm. And just the footsteps and the fact that you could hear him all throughout the police station. Yeah, there were times it was because when I played it, it was during COVID. It was about like 2 years after the game had come out, and I just remember hearing his footsteps, and I was playing in the dark, and I was like, "Oh my god!" I was like, "Oh my god!" Like there he is. Or then you'd hear the door open, and or even worse, you'd turn around a corner, and there he is, and you're like, oh god, like, but I would never like shout and yell like,
Agree.
I'm
I
not
think
going to do it here. I don't want to break the mic or your
I think
ears.
the closest I've gotten to yelling, like, consistently in a horror game was probably, the first time I ever played Resident Evil 4, and I hit that village for my
Oh
first ever
man,
time, and I
that
was
first
just, like
village
I
battle.
was stressed. It was summer, and, like, we didn't have AC, so it was very, very hot and muggy, and, also, I hadn't had the lights on, and it was, like, evening, so the sun was going down. It's, like, halfway through me playing this level, it went from, like, evening to night, and I was just
Ooh.
like, I remember I died on my first go through because I got chainsawed, and I just remember I was pouring fucking sweat. And I just been yelling for like like 2 minutes straight.
I'm with you there, man. That original village battle, and we're not talking about when you walk into the house and see the maggots and fight that one guy. I'm talking about when you walk, down the village. What is it? An alleyway, the pathway, and
Yeah.
yeah, you come across them burning that dude in the Is that like an Would that be called an effigy? Like when they were burning
Uh
the police
no, because if
officers?
it was an effigy, I'm pretty sure they would be like they would just be dead. An effigy is more decorative. They just fucking like hung those dudes on a meat hook and lit them on fire.
Yeah, yeah, they just burnt them like witches, man. And once you get into the thick of that and you realize that there's so many different like windows you can jump in, jump out of, move things in front of, moving like shelves in front of doors, it starts to get really tactical. And when you're walking upstairs and jumping out windows, all of a sudden, are they called ganados? The Resident Evil 4 Spaniard zombies. I think they're called ganados.
Yeah, I
Like
can't
it,
remember the exact name.
yeah, and like you could hop out the window from the second floor onto the pavilion at the top, and then just there's a Ganado right there, ready to axe you, and you're like, whoa! And that's the extent of my reaction, where it's like, oh shit, like oh, and then like you jump back in, do an immediate turnaround, and then you hear
I
the chainsaw, and then you're
Yeah.
kind of like, oh, what the fuck is that? I
And this was
Go
in the
on.
original when you could actually miss the chainsaw guy by not going inside of the house with the shotgun. Now in the remake, the chainsaw guy comes no matter what you fucking do.
I didn't know that about the original. You can actually make sure he doesn't show up by not getting the shotgun.
Yeah, if you just don't go in that house, because that's like what triggers it in the originals. If you go in the house, they lock you in, and then the chainsaw guy comes out. In the remake, because I
Huh.
remember when the first time I was playing the remake, I was like, I'm not going to go in that house. I'm not going to get the chainsaw guy. Then they're just like, nope, the chainsaw guy's coming anyway, bitch. Like,
Oh, okay. Nice to know that. I'm going to test that out the next time I play it. I was thinking about giving the original playthrough because I've played the hell out of the remake. But yeah, I'm actually gonna do that next time. So don't
one that
go in
you
the house with the shotgun. Like, don't even
yeah,
go
don't
in the
do it.
house.
And
Okay.
also just my ending point on this. I've like the loudest I've ever screamed in video games is trying to catch the Hylian loach, like per capita.
Uh, weren't you? Was that okay? Remember we were doing our Ocarina of Time playthroughs about 6 years ago, but I mean we've done many since then. But that was when you were having a lot of trouble with the Loach. I remember it was
I was doing it on the 3DS, which is like, and I had the I had that original that you gave me, so it's like
the
really
small one.
yeah, it's like flush, and also the like the analog thing is like flush to the fucking the system, and I was really struggling with that. Like my thumb was cramping.
Yeah, I remember the struggle that you were having, man, and you were really mourning over it every time you failed. You were having lots of trouble with it, and
My
yeah,
roommates at the time thought I was having night terrors.
really, you were just in your room groaning and
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 screaming
and
and like yeah, and like yelling and like I was like just like pleading. That was the other thing. There was one point where I was just like begging the game to let me catch the fish, like yelling. I was like, please.
but you know what you weren't doing, Jesse? You weren't throwing your controller. And that's my
No, I
next
didn't do
point.
that.
You
Oh,
know
okay,
what, man?
we're getting to the controller throwers.
Yeah,
Oh
that was a
yeah.
nice little segue. I like that. Throwing your controller is something that my brother did. I never knew that it was a thing until around like 93 or 94. My
I'm a reformed controller thrower. I used to, and then one day I threw one so hard the whole thing burst, and then I haven't thrown a controller since.
I've never done it. I've never actually thrown a controller or swung it. I'm not my oldest brother. I never saw him do it, but Ryan, he is 3 years older than me. He would get so angry at video games, especially sports titles like play action football, Madden, NHL. He would like he would swing a Super Nintendo or Genesis controller by the cable and smash it on the ground. And luckily, those controllers were really, really sturdy. So he never actually smashed it into pieces. But I remember I'd pick up the Super Nintendo controller, and you shake it, and you can hear
You
something.
could like hear the bits rattling around.
Yeah, he's done
It's like
something to it.
a little maraca. You
Yeah,
could play
man.
like a song with them. Chicka 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 chicka.
You fucked something up in there. I mean, come on, man.
Probably just
And
like the
I
little like chips and shit like breaking off, and they're just all fucking dangle like
how
loose.
angry how angry do you have to be to actually throw a controller? How do you think that way? I mean, those things are expensive. If I threw a Switch 2 Pro controller, that's that's almost $100 right there,
Oh
dude.
yeah, and now everything's so like controllers and shit are way more expensive than they used to
I
be.
f- I feel bad enough when they fall off the bed by accident. I don't have a rug floor. I have a very, very hard marble stone floor, and
Oh, me too.
Jesus.
Every time I drop a controller by accident, I'm like, oh fuck.
Yeah, man. Like, luckily, Nintendo makes pretty sturdy stuff, but those Xbox and Sony controllers, man, I'm wondering when their time is up. So I usually keep them on a big table so they can never fall. But I'm always playing Switch 2 these days, so sometimes it falls off, and
you,
but still,
you
go
know what
on.
was a great reckoning for the controller throwers? The Wii. That was when people went from damaging their controllers to just like shattering their fucking TV, just like tossing
Oh,
their fucking Wiimote into the center of it like a goddamn javelin.
oh man, mentally stable people these are, I must say. That's why they had the that's why they had the warning when you would turn on certain games. They'd say strap
Put that strap on, buddy.
put the strap on. I would actually put the strap on. I liked it.
I
It
would too.
yeah, the Wii strap was pretty cool, but yeah, just people throwing controllers. If like imagine if somebody came to your house and did that to your own stuff.
Oh, I would
Like
be fucking pissed off. I've actually been present for a couple of near fights between friends because someone came over and then threw a controller that wasn't theirs. You know, that's serious business.
yeah, you're literally damaging someone's property right there. But people think, for some reason, people think that, oh, come on, I'm just throwing a controller, or it's just a controller, and it's not. Like controllers nowadays are pricey. Even back in the day, $40 for a new Nintendo 64 controller, $50 for
That's
the DualShock. Whew.
Yeah, unless you were buying like the like shitty Mad Cats or like GameStop in-house third party controllers, which all sucked.
Yeah,
Uh
they're 20 or $30, but still, like, just don't fuck up my shit. The same way that I tell people, hey, don't touch the bottoms of the discs. Put them back in the case. Don't leave it on the floor. It's like, yo, take care of my shit. That's my stuff.
well,
The
that's not
most
going to be a problem too much longer because physical games are dying in like
Yep.
2 years.
Sony just announced that sometime in the middle of 2028, there will no longer be any physical copies of PlayStation 5 games. And who knows, PlayStation 6 might be an announcement around the corner, but still, that's yeah, I think you said it best last night. Microsoft and Sony are currently in a competition to see who can piss people off more. Or
And
that's
they're
not
both
verbatim, but
winning.
yeah, man.
I actually think Sony just won it. That for the physical media thing, and now it's apparently coming out that Xbox is also going in that direction too. So
I
just
haven't heard an official confirmation on the Microsoft end, but it wouldn't
yeah, no,
surprise me.
that's just rumors right now. But I wouldn't be shocked if it ends up being true.
A
But
positive to come out of that is that physical media for the PlayStation 4 and Xbox are they're gonna go up in price on the scalpers market, or the the sellers market. That's gonna run up prices right there, man. Everything's gone up by about like $5 or $10, I'm guessing, like
oh yeah,
right now.
collectors are in heaven or hell depending on what side of that they're on. But
Yeah,
let's jump to another one. This is actually one you brought up. That's one of my biggest pet peeves, and that is the Souls like gamer.
the Get Good Bros. Yep. Basically, people who just relegate themselves to only playing from software games or Souls likes, Souls
Yeah,
lights.
something adjacent to it.
Um, Look, man, there are certain games that I like. I mean, I like hard games, but I don't only want to play games that are designed to be really, really challenging. Like, that's not all I want to play in life.
Yeah,
Like,
sometimes you want to play a more casual game. Like me and you both enjoyed a game. It's a indie game called Tome, which is basically it's just a cozy black and white photograph game. You're just walking around this campsite on a mountain taking pictures, And
yeah,
sometimes that's all you want. And I also love, I like some Souls like type games. Like Blasphemous is one of my favorite fucking games ever, but it's not what you want all the time. And it's a really shitty form of gatekeeping to just kind of like shit on anyone that doesn't want to play those type of games. And you have people that struggle with those type of games and say it's not for me, to take that as some sort of personal slight or offense, and then be like, "Well, you get."
well, I mean, look, I like one game that kind of broke me last autumn was the Silk Song.
Yeah,
It's an excellent game, man. Love it. I love the first Hollow Knight, but then again, I don't want to go back and play Hollow Knight again because Hollow
it's
Knight
just
was.
it's long. It's a big. It's like, and that's like part of the what's great about. I've only played Hollow Knight. I haven't played Silk Song yet for the reasons that you're you don't want to go back to really either. No, they're just very very big games, and they are hard. It's a reflex buffet.
Yeah, I got to the third act in Silk Song. I was proud of that. I was proud of getting to the third act in that game. They say once you get past Act Two, that's where it just gets so ridiculously challenging that it separates the men from the
The
I don't
wheat
even
from the
know.
chaff.
Yeah, there you go. I loved it. I thought it was really fun, but I got to this gauntlet of enemies where I just, Jesus Christ, man, I don't want to do this. I can do this, but I don't want to. I don't want to sit here for a day, 3 4 hours, and just constantly die, and then like I'm not going to get any satisfaction from that anymore. There's a level of challenge that I can tolerate that I'm just not willing to put my time into these days. But I'm complaining about the games, but we should be complaining. What I want to complain about is the
The
people who are
people.
like that, who just they completely change their entire outlook on video games, and all they want is that. And I don't get that. I'm just like, really, you don't want to
And
go back
granted,
and
I
play?
had
Go on.
and like I know a few, like I know quite a few Souls like heads who become this, and they were not always like that. Souls likes weren't always around. That's they've been a more recent addition to gaming, if anything,
An
and it's just kind of
unnamed
like.
party, literally, an unnamed party, literally. It wasn't the reason that they stopped being my friend per se, but it was a large part of their growing resentment towards me that I wouldn't play Dark Souls for
Yeah,
years. They'd just be
it
like, how can you not play that game? You like Zelda, you like Castlevania. How can you not like this? And I thought, dude, I don't click with it. And then they would just say, ugh, talking to me as if I was just such a basic bitch. Ugh. Yeah,
and
it's like, go ahead,
It
go ahead.
reminds me of when dubstep dropped. Like when dubstep dropped, everyone stopped listening. Everyone who got into dubstep stopped listening to anything they listened before, and all they wanted to listen to was dubstep. And if you were
Well,
like, "I'm sick of this," they would get very, very defensive and shitty about it. And that's like kind of like Souls like is like the dubstep of video games.
So I lived with this guy in Towson. Okay, start from here. So I was living with this guy in Towson, and we were on our way to the liquor store. You know, he doesn't have a car or anything, and I put on some Big L. It was a nice little mixtape. Big L. Let's see here, some Prodigy, Mob Deep, Raekwon, and every time one of the songs came on, all he could comment on was saying, "Oh man, this would be so good as like a drum and bass background," or I could sample this for some sort of like I don't really know many dubstep varieties or subcategories, but he was really into drum and bass, and he kept just saying, "Hey, dude, can I put this on for you? You can listen to this." And it's like, "Nah, dude, I'm good, man." Yes, but that was his entire steez was dubstep. He didn't want to listen to any rock. Or anytime rock or rap or anything would come on, he'd somehow find a way to bring the conversation around to dubstep, and that's exactly what those souls like from software.
They are.
Yeah, man, that's what they do.
All I can say to you Souls like gamers is yeah, fucking lighten up.
I wouldn't say lighten. Okay, okay, for you it's lighten up. For me, I'd say, you know what? Like, there's a lot more in the world than just playing games that are just made to be extremely difficult. Go back and try and find some love in other games, and if you can't find any satisfaction from games that you used to like, well, I'm not going to say anything else besides that. That to me is sad. To me, it's sad that you're not able to go back and enjoy old games or even new games that just
Yeah,
aren't
play
incredibly difficult.
yeah, just play something more casual that's newer that everyone loves. You're just it's always gotta be whatever the Elden Ring or Life of Pi or whatever Souls like has come out that month. But let's
To them, yeah, yeah, yeah. Go, hold on. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Continue on. Yeah.
Oh, I was just saying, let's wrap it up with one more. Pull one out for me, Cameron.
People who get to the end of a game and just refuse to finish it. That,
Oh
oh,
God, yeah, that's happening. That's something that's burgeoning right now. I've noticed just like scouring comment sections about games. It's like people are just playing something like Disco Elysium or Outer Worlds. I've seen it as another big one, and some people have said it about Cyberpunk, where you've just like these are like long games. You've basically plugged like 40 plus hours into this game, and then you're just gonna stop. Like you're gonna edge yourself. Basically, you're just edging.
yeah, that would be what they would call gooning now, right? I
Yeah.
feel like gooning has replaced the word edge. Is that true?
No, gooning is like I mean, I guess so. I feel like gooning is more of just like it's less the edging part, and you're just like constantly going. So that would be like playing the same video game over and over again. Kind of like me.
Oh,
I'm a video game gooner, but these people are video game edgers.
okay, okay. I get what you're saying. It first hit me in COVID period when my ex-wife, she was playing through Breath of the Wild. She played the hell out of it, man. She put like 120 hours into it, lots of time into this game. And I would come in and I would notice that she was not doing any of the missions or anything like that. Like any sort of what are they? The Guardians or the Divine Beast? None of
Okay,
those
yeah.
missions. She would get through all of the subplots that led up to each area's Divine Beast, but she wouldn't go into any of them and solve any of the puzzles. And I said, "What are you doing?" And she's like, I don't want to do that." And I was like, "Well, you know, that's how you finish the game, or you know, make the ending a little easier." She's like, "Well, I don't want to finish the game." And I was like, "Why?" And she's like, "Because then if I finish it, it's over." And I'm like, "Okay, okay." That's like
but
getting to the end of a movie and then
then you
not.
can move on and play another game, and then get as obsessed with that game.
Yeah, but then she would literally stop playing it and get onto something else, and then she'd not beat that. And I was just thinking, even back when I worked at Natural Concerns, I remember this coworker of mine named Charlie, rest his soul. He would always tell me, yeah, I would get to he'd get to the end of Bioshock 1, 2, and 3, and he wouldn't finish them. I'd be like, I'd be talking to him about the game, and then he'd say, I'd be like, dude, but what'd you think about the ending? And then he'd say, oh, I didn't get there. I don't even know about it. I was like,
That's
what do you mean?
especially comical because the BioShock games are all games that are meant to be played through at least twice because there's generally 2 different endings.
But alas, here we are, my friend. People who just don't want to finish things. Michelle does that. She put like 45 hours into Pocopia, and she's at the very last world, and she won't finish it. She just doesn't want to. I said, go back and finish it. That way, you can say that you did something. But she'll finish a game like Mixtape. She'll finish a game like Mixtape.
Well, that's more of like that's like a walking simulator. That's something that's like clearly made to be finished. I feel like it's like a lot of times these games that these people feel it's always an open world game, and it's because it's an emotional thing. It's like an emotional blanket. Like the universe has become some sort of escapist comfort for them, and they don't want to leave it. But the thing
I
is
can
that there's like
understand that.
there's also, but for me, it's like I do understand it on the psychological level because I've had moments like that where it's like I'm about to beat a game I've just spent like you know days in, and I'm just like, damn, it's really about to end. But I'll still fucking beat the game because at the end of the day, there's like 50 million more immersive universes that you're gonna love.
Yeah, and I did that most recently with Zelda Echoes of Wisdom. I got to the last two dungeons and I put it down for a bit. One because it's not my favorite Zelda game, but there was a part of me that didn't want it to end because I knew this is the last Zelda game for a while and we're probably not going to go get a Zelda announcement for a long time. But yeah, I still went back and beat it like a few months later. I popped it in. I got that shit done. I did what I had to do. Beat the
And
game.
yeah, like yeah, just beat the fucking game. There's so many more games, and
It's not.
I
I'm not talking about.
video
Go on.
video games are pretty derivative overall. So if you want something similar to the game you just played, it probably exists and it's probably of similar quality.
And this is not me saying that you can't beat the game due to difficulty. This is an actual choice of I'm not going to finish the game. I choose not to finish it. That is what I'm talking about. If you have a hard time with a final boss, yeah, I never beat Panzer Dragoon Orta because that final boss is a monstrously cheap. Yeah, very very cheap, very very. I have no words to describe that boss, but I hate it with
I've
all of
never
my
been able to
soul.
beat Jet Force Gemini despite owning 2 copies of it at one point in my life. That's a hard
May
fucking game.
I think if you were to look at an Xbox Live or PSN percentage of people who actually finished Jet Force Gemini, it would probably be under 2%. Yeah, like
It's
that's a
like a
ridiculously hard
deceptively
game.
hard fucking game. That might be Rare's hardest game, not named Battletoads.
I wouldn't want to play through Jet Force Gemini. I saw my friend's friend playing that game, and I knew that it was not for me. I would never
I
go back to
mostly
that.
played it multiplayer because the multiplayer
Oh,
it
we
was
had fun
actually
with that.
fun.
Yeah, we had fun with the multiplayer, but single player wise, he kept dying and over again on the same section, and I was like, "Yeah, this one doesn't look that. That ain't it. That ain't it for Cam. No, no, no."
But
Anyways, let's wrap it
yeah.
up.
Yeah,
We had a
ladies and
fun
gentlemen.
little. Go ahead.
Just like a little parting message, ladies and gentlemen, just beat that game. And if you're really gonna miss that specific universe, go on Steam or go on some video game aggregate site and just type in the game you just played, and they generally will have a little game similar to, and there'll be games that have the same mechanics, games in similar universes, and just go play that. Beat the game, let it go, let go. That's my
Yeah,
that's my that's
hell
my
yeah.
philosophical message for the end of this episode. But
That
take
was
us home,
righteous.
Cameron. Take it to the fridge, Cranky.
Take it to the fridge. Oh man, that DK rap. Whew. Listened to that a couple times recently. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna leave you to it. We hope you liked this little flash episode. It came out of nowhere like a wild hair up our asses. Don't
Hmm.
forget to hit like and subscribe on YouTube, wherever you listen to us, whatever you're doing. With that, this is Jesse and Cam out.
Peace.